Hey everybody, it is Tuesday check-in on Wednesday. There are two things I want to talk about today, and the first one is about our church's prospective return to normal activities from current isolation. And so you've probably seen on the news that our state government has passed the shutdown policies to the counties, and so we'll be seeing what happens. We may find that things open up sooner than had been projected. We'll just have to kind of see. Right now, we're in phase 2 of reopen, and maybe seeing some of the next phases coming here pretty soon. I'm hopeful that things will continue to get better, and people will continue to be safe for their sake, and certainly for each other. I was thinking about how when I go to the store, I wear a mask, whether it's the store or I'm delivering meals for the schools, or whether I'm taking tablet videos to some of our people. Whatever it is, I wear my mask, not because I'm afraid of for my own health, but because I'm concerned about other people's health, and I want to protect the people I come in contact with. For me, that's an important way to love my neighbors. It's also a way to live out Romans 12:1, where it says to offer our bodies as living sacrifices. I feel like I give up a little bit of my own comfort as a part of my worship and a part of my love for God and others. So I hope you're continuing to do the same thing, and maybe we'll see this thing get better sooner rather than later. But about gathering, I've been reading a bunch about the current situation, and here's what I found that to me is helpful when we think about coming back to our building. The risk can be broken down into categories, and I look at it like this. It's proximity plus time plus activity. So proximity meaning how close we are to each other, how much are we near somebody else. And so you may go to the grocery store and you may be in close proximity with somebody for a moment, but for the most part, you're just kind of walking by. And then the time that you're in close proximity is so short that, hopefully that keeps it from being too risky. And the activity that you're doing, typically just walking by, breathing, doesn't expel nearly as many germs as some other activities. But when you think about church, when you think about gathering together, we're talking about groups of people all together in one place. And we may try to separate some, but if everybody came back to worship, we couldn't. And so we have that proximity problem. And along with that, it's, touching the pews and the doors and the bathrooms and everything else. And then we have a time issue, which is we're not just together for a moment, we're together for an hour or more. And so that extends, that makes more opportunity for us to share the virus with each other. And then you look at our activity, and as we worship together, we're talking, we're singing, we're doing things that expel our germs at a higher rate than just breathing and walking around. And so we're really at a more risky situation when it comes to gathering together. So what that means is we're going to continue to do what we're doing, at least for the time being. And so we will continue to do online worship. We'll continue to stay separated, to take care of one another, because not only do you have those three aspects, but you also have one other, and it's that about half the congregation would be considered at risk of real problems if they contracted this virus. People that have other health conditions, or those that are just of an age that the virus tends to hit harder. And so that means that we really have to be careful to take care of one another, and we continue to look at it as a way to love our neighbors, to love each other. To be the church is to not be together in this time. And so my hope is we will be back sometime soon, but we're probably looking at late June, early July, and hoping that maybe things will be back to a place that we can get together, even if that means in some kind of modified way. But I'm praying for a breakthrough. I'm praying for our healthcare and essential workers as they continue to be out there. I pray for my patience and your patience as we work through this. I'll encourage you to remember that being fed up with being isolated is not a reason to go out. We're all fed up with it. We're all tired of it. But that's not enough, because we're called to love our neighbors and take care of them for their sake. My encouragement today comes from Jeremiah 29, 4-7. It says this: "This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce, marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper." Now, maybe we don't do all the things it says specifically, but the idea is this: while God's people were exiled in a foreign land, Jeremiah, God spoke through and said, don't just grit your teeth and be angry, but prosper there. Make a life there. Do what is best for the city that you live. I'll encourage you to do the same. We may be isolated, you may be frustrated, but you have an opportunity to bless your family, to bless your neighborhood, to bless the community in the midst of all that we're going through. So take Jeremiah's words and live those out as we love our neighbors, no matter what we're going through right now. Now, here's the second thing I wanted to tell you about today. I don't know if you're aware how blessed we are that we have John Porter and Matt Wilkinson serving as our music directors during this time. If you have watched our Sunday streaming services, you've seen and heard the great work that they are doing to serve this church. And you may not be aware just how much that takes. I mean, these guys could do kind of what I'm doing right now, which is sit in front of a cell phone camera and record themselves singing some songs. But they don't do that. They put their time, their effort, they put their hearts into making an experience for us that draws us into worship. Because it's weird to be doing church at home. It's odd to be hearing these songs and trying to sing congregationally when we're not together. And so what they've done is worked incredibly hard to make that an experience that calls us to worship. And I just don't know if everyone realizes how much work that is, and especially because that's volunteer work that they're doing for this church, and they've been doing it for months now. So I just want to take this time, and I want to say thank you to John, thank you to Matt for the work that you're doing, and I hope that you too will reach out to them and let them know just how great of a job they're doing, and how much we appreciate their talents and their gifts and their willingness to serve in this way. We certainly thank God that He has been with us throughout this whole time. He has sustained us, and He is working in us, even though the building may be closed. So with that, I hope you're having a good week. I hope you will stay home, stay healthy, and continue to do good for the place that you are, and see God work through you wherever you are, whatever you have to do. And we'll get through this, and we'll be back together eventually. All right, with that, we hope you have a great week.